That was kind of fun yesterday. Train 2.0. I had lots of fun. You guys were awesome for joining. So in the membership area, coming, okay, I have how to gain a pound a week. If you are a undersized hockey player, tired of getting pushed around, afraid of putting on weight, how do you put on a pound a week of muscle and also get stronger and get better at hockey? How do you do that? That is filmed just in the editing process. It'll be in there very shortly. How to hypnotize your coaches. And this is something people won't like, which is fine. But here's the deal. Think of it this way. There's a lot of coaches or players, I've seen this a lot, where a player is liked by a coach, right? Player's liked by a coach. Player gets put in opportunities to succeed. Player gets excused when they mess up, and there's a lot of trust put in that player. As a result, the player who has that trust gets better, grows more confident, and then they get more opportunity, and then they play better. And next thing you know, the coach is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's a virtuous cycle that the coach and the player are part of. Okay, and it works the other way. Coach is hard on a player, doesn't like a player, cuts back on their ice time, gets on them for mistakes, starts shutting them down when they're making mistakes, shortens their ice time, reduces their opportunity. Player gets less confidence, starts playing worse. Coach notices this, gets even harder, ups the standards, right? Again and again. So it's either a virtuous cycle up, right, or it's a vicious cycle down. So that is what you have in most hockey scenarios. Now, hypnotizing your coach isn't, I've got my keys here, it's not doing this thing, okay? It's getting your coach on your side so they enjoy coaching you, so or that they want to. Okay, so that's what a hypnotizing your coach is, and really what it is it's tapping into what they want, what they need. You're saying key words, key phrases, and actually acting in a way that's consistent with getting them what they want, which is a confident, strong player that needs their support, that is willing to accept their coaching, even if it's drone coaching, and who agrees with them. Now you might think, oh, Jason, that's strange. You talk about drone coaching and disagreeing with them. But the thing is that drones, right, are drones. You can go program them. You just need a wizard engineer, like a software programmer, to go boop, 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 and program the drone to work for you instead of against you. So if you are listening to me and taking my advice and going up to your drone coach and saying, you're wrong, that's not hypnotizing it. It's working against you. Okay, when you're hypnotizing your coach loves you. They want to give you every opportunity to succeed. Okay, you know how they've got those favorite players on a team? Well, if you say the right things, do the right things, act in the right way, are committed in the right way to the coach, to the team, the coaches will get on your side, right? And if parents are watching this and you're thinking, oh, can I hypnotize my coach to be on my kid's side? Yes. The first most important thing is that your kid is doing the hypnotizing. The second is that you're saying and doing the right things. Key phrases, key emotions, key behaviors, these things are all critical for hypnotizing your coach. Hypnotizing opponents. You guys watch my Datsuk video. And hypnotizing opponents comes down to magic mechanics and the puppeteer framework. How do you guys use your mechanics? I'm going to talk about a few of them in a second here. How do you guys use your mechanics to hypnotize and fool defenders? And hypnotizing goalies, I've talked about this trick. It's actually quite a simple mind trick. and it's worked so far, and it's been quite cool. So when it comes down to the magic mechanics, I'm going to touch on those briefly. Okay, I'll give you some hints. Okay, the rest is in the membership area. And if you want to hypnotize your coaches, that's also coming to the membership area. I've been getting lots of emails, lots of texts, lots of messages asking for this stuff. It is coming. I'm making sure it's perfect, dialed in for you, awesome members. Also, check out the Train 2.0 Facebook page. Like it. Give it a follow. Because I just shared the Train 2.0 group where I'm engaging in the train, I call it the tribe. And if you guys have questions, it's a strong community, growing stronger, talking about how you can create magic. Like I said, I'm not here teaching hockey skills. I'm here teaching, studying the hockey wizards, deconstructing it, and then building you up to create hockey magic. So one of the things you often see in stick handling drills or instructors is the head and shoulder fake. Right? So if I'm stick handling the head and shoulder fake, the problem with that is that if all defensemen are taught to look at the chest and you have to try and be balanced, then the hip and shoulder fake is not going to be very helpful because you're going to get off balance and the defenders are going to be able to see and watch your hip and shoulder fake. Instead, what wizards do, we watched Datsuk the other day in the YouTube video, they use hips and footwork. Right? And no, everyone says, oh, stick handling has the word hands in it, so it's all about your hands. Wrong. The hands are the byproduct of your foot movement and your hip movement. So if you have that, I just got a pretty funny text. If you have that dialed in, you can hypnotize opponents and be much more deceptive because you're unpredictable. So yeah, I think a cooler word than deception is hypnosis. So what will be coming to the membership area was something I realized was missing, which is how to do footwork and hip drills off ice while stick handling, right? Everyone has stick handling or does stick handling drills with your hands, worried about, the pattern on the ground, what way is the stick going? I don't have my stick, but what are you doing with your hands? What are you doing with your wrist roll and all that stuff? But nobody talks about what to do with your feet off ice. Jeremy from How to Hockey posted the Connor McDavid's off ice drills where he's moving his feet, right? So that's a really critical part of being a wizard is magic mechanics, and that's using your feet, your footwork, and your hips to create deception. And it's not just like the McDavid part, I think is part of it, the footwork he was doing. The other part of it is how you're using your hips. So like I said, that's going into the membership area. I'll break that down for you so you know exactly what to do, or if you're going to go and copy McDavid, which I suggest, his drills. Again, what little things did he do differently than everyone else, which led him to where he is? So that's the magic mechanics side. And then hypnotizing the goalie, that's the funny part stuff too. Okay. Any questions? Just replying to the funny text I got. I didn't turn off my notifications today. Any other questions that we have today? Look, I came down to the gym again because I had fun bouncing around showing you guys stuff. Planning on bringing my stick next time and ball so I can actually even just do straight up live demos. Because yeah, that was fun yesterday. Anything before I go? Everyone likes the idea of hypnosis, by the way, so you should. I know by the time I get one question, I'll probably end up with 7, so I am waiting for one though. So if you have a question, ask it. Otherwise, I'm out of here. Yo, last TF in 365 Hockey Life. Yo, how do you improve hockey sense? It's a good question. Play soccer. End of my answer. That would be the first one. One of them is I'll tell you this. I'm working with one of a player right now. He's 18, 17. He and I are working together on producing. He's doing Instagram videos for me, so you guys will see that in a bit. And in return, him and I are working together talking about breaking those down. So he's an Instagram expert. And so he offered his services to me in return for talking him through the things that he was the things that he's learning. So when it comes to hockey sense, he thought he was understanding quite well, and he was. And then what we went to the next level on was just studying exactly what to do. So my answer is, if you can't just do it by playing soccer, then what I'd suggest is really breaking down and understanding what's happening in every situation, because unfortunately the drone coaches can't really teach it unless I'll talk about it in the membership area, but unless you can influence a drone coach to teach you by accident or through hypnosis. So my suggestion is watch hockey often, ask why things are happening, break it down very specifically, and ask what's going on. I hope that helps. Okay, when I'm using my hips, should I use my head and shoulders at the same time, or just hips and shoulders? Good question for fakes. You will end up using your... See, here's the thing is people thought that deeks were from the shoulders, but you see, as I move my hips, my shoulders are going to go too. So, or if I'm going to step, the shoulders go, but the shoulders come after the hips. So people get that mixed up. So focus on the hip and foot movement. The shoulders will follow, head will follow, and that's going to make you much more in control, much more deceptive, and that's probably better. Hopefully that answers your question, JD. Do I think Burns is the best player? I don't see him doing the great info you talk about, but he's a stud scorer. Well, I think Burns is Burns does something. Burns and PK Subban do a very similar pattern. It's similar to the finishers formula that you're going to see Ovechkin and Stamkos do, but it's kind of like a defenseman's version. So there's that, and he also does a few of the finishers formulas, moves on his shots. So he's doing that, and I would say he is a dominant player. He doesn't do a lot of the footwork deception stuff, but his timing and positioning is impeccable, and he's got a great shot. And he's using, like I said, the 4 shots for the finishers formula. So that's what probably leads to all his goals. How do you improve quick decision making? So quick decision making, I'll give you the quick hint here. The first way to improve quick decision making is to know what you're doing before you get the puck. So as you're receiving the puck or before receiving the puck, you should already have identified what your options are. So do you have a pass option, a skating option, or should you be protecting it? If you're aware of that before you get the puck, your decision making happens a lot quicker. Is the hip scissor movement just for sideways movement and fakes? Yes, it can be used for those, and it can also be used for puck protection. The Sedines, I remember before I really knew or could decode what the hip scissor movement was, I remember watching the Sedines and being like, what are they doing? They're doing something strange. I don't know what it is, but they're doing something. And I realized now I look back, it's the hip scissor movement. So they would go and they'd be in their wide tripod puck protection, and then they'd hip scissor one way and then hip scissor the other. So the Sedines use that for puck protection quite often. And then also you can be using it to actually step forward and gain more speed. See, I knew this would happen. I get one question and then I get 6 of them. Anyway, I hope that answers you guys' questions. 1 or 2 more, which of course leads to 7, but 1 or 2 more, then I'll take off. Yeah, that sounds like a dirty kid said, saw a great article the coach mentioned. To watch your own game films, 2 things. Watch how you could get the puck more and also how you could hold the puck longer. What do you think? I agree with that 100%. Can you send me that article? Because I really agree with that. This guy might not be a drone coach. I couldn't agree more. Can you send me that article though? Thank you, a dirty kid. I think that's one of the if we go back to what Belfry talked about, he was working with Belfry talked about, I think it was Backlund he was working with, and he said all he had to do was hold onto the puck an extra 1 or 2 seconds longer to create a force switch, and that usually opened up more options for him. So, and then I see players, and when I do one-on-one coaching with players, one of the things I see is they are moving the puck too quickly. They are just moving it. They feel like they're under pressure, and then they just get rid of it. There's that, and then looking at opportunities to receive more pucks. So how you can be open, and how you can anticipate pucks faster. That's personally what I did. One of my summers when I made my biggest growth was when I got access to my game film, looked over all of it. I realized how much more space I had. If I moved laterally, I'd create a whole bunch of space. And because I looked over my own game film, I made huge gains in my hockey sense. Do I think the 24/7 hockey guy is a good strength and conditioning coach? I'm sure he is. My opinion on strength and conditioning, despite being a trained kinesiologist, is that it's more or less useless for hockey. JD asks, I feel like if I get the puck in the corners a lot in games, I'm usually the one forcing the play. So if I get the puck and there's no defenseman or forward supporting me, is there any good moves to create time and space? Yeah, I mean, you got to think about whether you're actually trying to create time and space, or if you're trying to just hang on to the puck until you get support. And in that case, you'd want to be using Crosby puck protection a lot. So, and he uses that often to create time and space. So go over the Crosby puck protection formula and if you're looking over game film, something I highly recommend, and a Dirty Kid recommend, then I would recommend that for sure. Going over your video, looking how you can apply your Crosby puck protection to hang on to the puck longer. And with that, again, a 10-minute talk turned into a 20-minute talk. Thank you guys for your questions. If you're a member, keep your eye on the membership area. More good stuff coming. I'm loving making this for you guys every single day. If you're not a member, you might want to consider it. Like I say, I'm pumping in new content daily. It's meant for you who are wanting to literally become a hockey wizard. I've studied them. I want to teach you how to create magic in your game, in your career, whether you're a beer league player, a recreational player, or a super, super elite. I want to help because I didn't have that resource. I had a little taste of the honey when it came to Belfry as a resource, and I'd love to continue on what he's doing or what he did in a more complete, comprehensive way for you. So please check that out. I've given you guys all get 7 days free to try it out. Cancel anytime if you don't like it for any reason. Just can it. But I promise you guys it will be worth it, and it only gets better. So check that out. Like me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Share this video with anyone who you think would be interested. All these things I really appreciate. Just want to get the message out. So thank you guys very much for watching. And again, thanks for your questions. Bye-bye.